Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jessica, and this video is part of a series of videos on mushrooms, magic mushrooms. And on this video, we're gonna dive deeper onto microdosing for depression, anxiety, and ADHD. So if you have any questions, put it in the comment, and please subscribe to my channel so you can keep watching videos like this. Microdosing. So I had depression, no, suicidal, anxiety, ADHD. I was on the spectrum, anger outbursts. Oh, also borderline personality disorder. And I'm from Brazil, so I went to even Brazilian doctors and I got diagnosed with all these things, and people used to call me crazy. And I used to hate when they call me crazy, but really I only hated it because it was true. I was crazy. I was crazy and I tried everything. I was on antidepressants myself, and I did the therapy, and I did all these things, and I've always had financial conditions to explore the available treatments that were out there. So this is no way, shape, or form to try to tell people to not go seek conventional medicine. This is a video to those who have tried conventional, and conventional doesn't work or didn't work for them, or then it worked in a way that, like me, you were labeled with so many things that you're like, why am I such a fucked up human being? And that is just not the reality of things. So it's not that you are hyperactive or whatever. It's not that you are. You don't are nothing. You have. So there could be that for a time in your life, you have temporarily condition of what's happening in your life are the symptoms, and then conventional medicine likes to go and create a label and a thing for your thing, but it's a symptom. And then of course you can take a medicine and the symptom goes away or not, right? But that's not what we're gonna talk about. That if you're into that, if you want a medicine for your symptom, this video is not for you. This video is for people who know they're great, that you know you're an amazing human. There's nothing wrong with you. It's just that there might be some stuff on your life going on that makes you act like that. And then the idea is that you don't take medicine, right? That you don't take medicine, but maybe these conditions are too difficult to deal with in that moment in time. So what you need on top, in addition to other practices such as psychoanalysis, having a coach, a mentor, meditation, and all of that, in addition to, perhaps you need a little boost. That is something that is really gonna help you to overcome. So today, I'm proud to say I don't have any of those things, and that is just a proof that I really never had it. Because step one to have ADHD, for example, is that you have it since you were a child. So you cannot say that you developed ADHD. That is not medically correct. Like, you either always have ADHD or you never have ADHD. So you cannot just have ADHD while you're going through a tough time. Like, that doesn't work like that. So anyway, so we're gonna go deeper on that. So when you're a child, from 0 to 6, you are highly susceptible to your surrounding. You are in a theta brainwave of being, meaning you are literally a sponge. So everything that happens in your life, you are absorbing. Every phase, every wrinkle. There's even like a thing about moms and grandmothers with Botoxes, because they, like babies, they absorb, not even verbally, just like by expressions and micro muscles and things, and you're absorbing other people's views of the world. And in your brain, you have this thing called a brain cell. A brain cell is a neuron. And these neurons, they're trying to make sense of the world, because you have to remember, video number one, we are part of the animal kingdom. We're animals. So for survival, we have to make sense of the world. So these neurons, they create neural pathways, which is they communicate and they create like things in your brain that say things, that those things are supposed to help you survive. So here's a funny example. So I grew up in the south of Brazil, and my dad, when he grew up, of course, it was like Brazil versus Argentina. And grew up with that, right? So it's like this big rivalry with soccer and all of that. And in the beach I grew up is the beach that Argentinians come like to spend their summer. So my dad, like being a big soccer fan and all, these Argentinians would come and, they're a bunch of tourists. So, typically people don't like tourists. So, and my dad was like, these Argentinians. But then when I grew up, like my dad didn't even have to say anything. I just knew my dad hated Argentinians. Just like his face and the way he would like go around them and just look at them. So I absorbed these things from my dad. And when I moved to Miami, I had this idea, there's like Latinos and Argentinians, and I kind of had this idea because that's a belief that my parents passed on to me. And then when we have this belief and we grow older with this belief, we have this other thing called confirmation bias. So it's kind of like there's a blue car theory, but it's like the other day a friend of mine said, wow, look at that Tesla truck. And I was like, wow, I've never seen a Tesla truck, but ugly as hell, but okay. But anyways, Tesla truck. After somebody told me about the Tesla truck, I saw Tesla trucks. I still see Tesla trucks like almost every day. So when you're looking at something, like I'm sure you noticed the little mushroom here, but did you notice the plant on the back? Now you're looking at the plant in the back. So when your attention is towards something, your brain will look for confirmation. Your brain will look for evidence to support its belief system. So this thing about the Argentinians, right? So then every Argentinian meeting, I'm like, oh yeah, they suck. I grew up with them. They come to my beach, they're trash, whatever. And then it just reinforces. So then those neural pathways that I said earlier, they get stronger and they get stronger and they get stronger. But of course, it gets to a point that's not serving. It's just something hard. And then it's hard to change because it's a reaction. I gave a simple example about the Argentinians, but it could be anything. It could be a way I react when I do something wrong, because my mom used to beat me up when I did something wrong. So now those things, the idea is that there are these patterns and emotions and set of things that we grow up with based on what it was passed on to us. And it doesn't have to be just parents. It could be school, friends, anyways. And then we grew up and that neural pathway is strong. It's that neural connection, it's strong. It's really difficult to change. Why? Because it's strong. Because those brain cells, for survival, it's almost like to you, it's the truth. To you, you are. And that's why labeling could be so damaging, like you are this, you are that. So the brain already thinks it is what it is. So how do microdosing enters here and how it can help? Well, microdosing, as I said earlier, helps with neuroplasticity. What's neuroplasticity? Your neurons, your brain cells, right? They connect like this, and the longer you live with that thought, the longer it's reinforced that connection. And then it's really difficult to connect in different ways. Maybe I dated an Argentinian that was an awesome guy. And okay, that's a new experience, but like I would need a lot of new experiences to really change that. So of course you can change just with power of will, but honestly, who can do that? Some people can do that, but microdosing on mushrooms, in addition to having these new experiences, in addition to reading books, in addition to going to therapy, in addition to having this new vision of world, it helps your brain, your neural way. It's kind of like you put it on the microwave, it becomes softer. And then because that brain cell becomes softer and that pathway becomes flexible, and then you have these experiences of these other things, it helps to connect that way. So now, of course, my favorite food is Argentinian. My favorite restaurant in Miami is Argentinian. I love Francis Malman, he's a great chef. My favorite dessert, dulce de leche, my favorite wine, Malbec. I love so many Argentinian things and Argentinian people, and I'm not like that anymore. So the point here is that if I'm living in the south of Brazil eating mushrooms, nothing is gonna change. But eating mushrooms, in addition to reading and understanding and putting myself in these new experiences, really help my brain to connect in different ways. And how that relates to ADHD and all of that. It relates because we are not comfortable sitting with the discomfort. So something happens and then, okay, I'm anxious, I have anxiety, I feel sad. And then you with the mushrooms, if you're microdosing, it's kind of like a surfboard, I guess, but you learn to ride the wave. Yes, you're gonna feel sad. Breaks up suck. Losing a job sucks. Somebody dying sucks. And you learn to ride that wave and you learn with the rhythms of nature that sometimes you're sad, but sometimes you're not sad. The mushrooms, they kind of support you on the way. The same idea with anxiety. And then your brain forms that new connection. Your brain, before, when something weird happened, went on anxiety over mode because that's what it knew to do for your survival, to just go crazy. But the brain wants to keep you alive, but it doesn't want to keep you happy. So when you eat these mushrooms, in addition to these things, you start to forming this new connection in your brain. It's a new pathway that shows it's safe. It's safe. Yes, ADHD people, sure. I don't like work. Who likes work? Who likes doing what they need to do? But they learn that, hey, work is work. I'm choosing to do this job because it pays my bills. And then I'm going to do the other thing I really like. But right now I need to do that. And guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to take breaks. So you learn these other ways of coping with life, these new ways of being, so to say, that are really healthy. And these new ways of being, they're healthy ways to deal with life, because life is messy for everyone, no matter if you have a disease or if you don't have a disease. And some people here, they're gonna say, but I'm really ADHD. Well, it's because you wanna be. Just the fact that you're saying you're ADHD means you wanna be. Why are you saying that? What are the things that make you ADHD? List them down. Well, I interrupt people. Well, then don't. Oh, I can't. Yes, you can. And mushrooms, they help with that. So microdosing mushrooms, in addition, let's say I'm going to therapy and I know that, let's say several people complain to me that I interrupt them. Let's say, first of all, there's some things that just aren't a problem. There's certain things that just is how you are and you deal with them and you live with them and you're cool. But certain things are really like problematic, right? So let's say you're losing jobs and stuff like that. Let's say the interruption thing. Okay, wow, I interrupt people. So you already know that you want to do better, and you eat the mushrooms, and then you try, you practice. You practice not interrupting. And then your brain is gonna, like I said, create this new connection, and it's gonna be amazing. And another way, the other way that mushrooms in a microdose can help you is by quiet down the default mode network, which is this area that can be super overactive, especially in people with anxiety. It's like the ego, the thinking brain, and it's just like you're gonna do like a scan of the brain. It's like super active, and when you're microdosing consistently, kind of like teaches it. It's kind of like meditation, really. Meditation and mushrooms are basically the same thing. Obviously, meditation is better, but in the beginning, to get your foot in the door, considering there's nearly no side effects to mushrooms, especially in a microdose, it's a great natural way to give your brain the little push to be doing the things that you always wanted to do, but you just, couldn't. So this is my video on microdosing for depression, anxiety, and ADHD. Leave your questions in the comments, subscribe, and stay tuned for the video on macrodoses and more questions. Thank you.